Brief overview of Mobble. I'm going to sort of talk about setup from the very beginning. So the first thing that you do when you set up Mobble is you're coming to the map page and you're mapping out your property. And the way you do that is this big plus button down the bottom right, and you're adding in your paddocks. And you can just zoom in to your strainer posts, and you can go around and map out your paddocks this way. Add paddock, and you can select types here as well. It's worth noting at this point, like you can have multiple types or different types for different paddocks, and they come up as different colors, and you can change the colors as well. So you can have, some people like to put in their crop types as paddock types, ryegrass, wheat crop, whatever it is, and they'll show up different colors. Some people like to have maybe something to do with like sort of farm boundary locations as the type. It's all different ways you can do it, but it's all customizable. And it's a good thing to think about as you're actually mapping out Mobble. But you can still change those types and edit them as you go as well. And you basically just hit the add new paddock there and add that new paddock in. And you're going through the property, takes a little while, map out the place. Note that you can also, if you've already got the map, your property already mapped out somewhere in another software or in Google Earth or something like that, you can also send through that map file to us and we can upload it for you to save you a heap of time. So just noting that one as well. And the other thing that you'll be doing first up, another good thing to think about doing is mapping out your map assets as well. So things you like your silo locations, shed, tanks, troughs, stuff like that too. There was a question that came in from one of our mobblers around mapping in electric power lines and mapping in pipelines. You can definitely do that too. So it's the same process. You add in a map asset and you select a type of map asset here. And for this case, we can choose pipeline. But in the case of let's say a power line, which isn't listed here, we can have it in other line, and that can be your own custom, whatever you want, sort of map asset. So yeah, you could map out where that power line goes through the place. So for example, this goes from this corner to here and then bounces out the back. You can see there's wind towers here as well, so maybe it connects to this wind tower. We can add that asset in, call it a power line. And there it is. So you got as far in as setting up all your paddocks and your map assets. The next thing you might want to consider doing is setting up your custom fields in Mobble. So you got your map here, you got your map assets all in, and before you start adding in your mob, we can customize what breeds and genders and everything you're using at the moment so Mobble can work for you. So the way you do that is you go into your settings and you go classes, types, and tags. And here is all the things you can customize within your mobs, your livestock, and your paddocks as well. So we're talking about those paddock types before. For us at home, we have cattle and sheep. And what we've done here is there's a preset selection in Mobble of all these different, say, sheep breeds. And we've just deleted all them and put in the breeds that we actually use on this property. So these are the breeds that we use, and it's very easy to add them in, add a breed in here. And you might have a breed of two different types, and you can name it something, cross something, for example. So add the breed in there and delete the ones. Very easy to delete the ones that you're not using as well. You can also, and the same with the genders as well. Now the big tip here is keeping it really simple. So some people come into genders and decide to name things like ewe culls, or we'll go to cattle. They'll go cow culls or bull culls, or they'll sort of name the mob in the gender. I would recommend not doing that. I'd recommend keeping it really simple and just having, bulls, cows, heifers, mixed sex for your calves and steers. Keep it really simple. Obviously double up here so we could go in and delete one of these, but keep it really simple. And then for those extra classing, like for the culls, for your wets or things that you sort of name your mob, I'd highly recommend you use classes. This is kind of where it goes to that next level of reporting, and it's a good way to sort of name your mobs in a way that you want to, or more specifically towards your farm. So it could be, heavies and lights, it could be culls, it could be in lamb, it could be seconds, twins, wets, all these different things. So I would highly recommend use classes. So you can set up your different classes of livestock within here, and that's a good place to start. So once you've sort of worked out your, sort of narrowed down your cattle breeds and your sheep genders or your cattle genders, goat genders, whatever livestock you've got, you can probably come back to the map here and start adding in those livestock. And to do that, there's a couple ways you can do it, but probably the simplest way is to just hit this button here, press add mob, and we've got three different options. And if you're setting up the property, probably best to press setup. But there is natural increase here, which is, say you're adding in calves, and purchases, which should be self-explanatory. We're adding in, say, some bulls that we bought. So let's go set up other for this scenario, and we're going to put them into Yabby and sheep, and then breed. These are the breeds that we preset earlier, so there's no confusion. And then there's these really simple genders we got here, so there shouldn't be any confusion there. Ages, young ewes, and then classes. And this is where we can get much more specific. That needs to be a bit, yeah. And maybe these ones a seconds line, and they're in twin. So that's where you can get more specific in the classes. And then you got your head number, and next, and save. And that'll pop up on the property there. So that's yeah, sort of my tips around customizing your property before you get started, or if you've already started, it might be a good time to review what breeds and genders and classes that you're using, and neaten them up in the settings there. Because once you've neatened them up, it's going to be easier in the future to manage your mobs, and it's going to be easier in the future to get better reports. It's much cleaner reports as well. So when you come to this, say, a livestock reconciliation report, which is in this tab down the left, this is our full livestock rec over a financial year. So you can see, choose your financial year. You can get this breakdown in a neat fashion. So your all merino ewes here, and then under, yeah, so make first cross ewes here, and under that you've got all the different classes, and it breaks it down nicely. If you don't want the full livestock rec, you can also go to livestock numbers summary, and this is a much simpler view as well of your current numbers. That's the mob I just added in then. All right, so you've done an awesome job. You've set up your paddocks, your map assets. You've put all your mobs in the way you want them classed. The next job for you guys to do is invite the team. So it's nice and simple, and I'll take you through it. You go into settings, you go to users, which you add in invite a user this way. It won't let me because we've exceeded our user limit. But what you'll see here is a form that basically tells you, it asks you to put an email in, and then what type of user are they? So there's three different types. There's the owner of the property who has full access. They're also the owner of the subscription. The admins, they also have full access but can't do any billing stuff for the subscription. There's a user level. So sorry, there's four. There's a user level which has general access, can do all the mob movements, can do your mob actions and stuff, but they don't have any access to these reports or any financial data on your livestock or on your farming operation. And then there's a view-only user as well, which just they can't do anything, but they can see most things except for anything sensitive. And they won't be able to move mobs or anything like that. It won't let them as well, which is handy. It's just handy when if you've got just someone you just want to be able to view and not actually do anything. Also worth noting, we have this other area called Mobble Connect, and this is similar to users. These are our third-party access. These don't add to your user limits. You can add these people in as much as you like. Well, there are limits within each one, but you can add your farm advisor in, stock agent, accountant, contractor, and all these different people get different views. So contractor is one of the most commonly used, but basically the contractor view, as an example, and you can go in here and they'll tell you the capabilities of each view, is just a view of the map, and they can't make any edits. So all they'll see, everything else will be grayed out, and all they can see is the map, and they better see their location on the map. And it's great for things like, you've got a shooting contractor and needs to know where the boundaries of the property are. You've got fencing contractors, and you can add a task for them in the map. Or maybe they're a helicopter contractor mustering up in Queensland, and they can also get access to this, and they can see their location on the map and which paddock they're in. Really good for heli mustering. That's probably sort of the four main steps of getting your Mobble set up and get going well. But all those steps apply to people that use Mobble currently, if you want to review how you got it set up. So yeah, hopefully that helps.